Section 97 of the Doctrine and Covenants is going to be the beginning of some of the problems in Zion over in Jackson County, Missouri. Remember, the church is going on at two areas right now. Half the church is over in Kirtland, and half the church has gone over to Jackson County, Missouri, and Zion to help build up this holy city unto God, the gathering, the place of Zion, the New Jerusalem. When they get there, they start building up, and by June of 1833, there's over 1,000 Latter-day Saints that are there. They've started to improve the land. They've cultivated farms. They've built homes and businesses. They're trying to live the law of consecration. They've even started holding their own school of the prophets over there in Missouri, just like they did in Kirtland. And the school is led by our good friend Parley P. Pratt, one of the mighty apostles of the Lord that he'll become. And Parley P. Pratt writes a letter to Joseph Smith and mentions all these things that Zion is doing well. And in his letter, his purpose of writing him is to receive some instructions for the new school of the prophets that he has started there over in Zion. Curiously, though, Parley P. Pratt doesn't mention something in his letter, and that's that the saints in Zion have not begun to build a temple. In late June, Joseph Smith is going to send a letter back to Zion, and he's going to include a plot of how to build up Zion with the temple in the center. He gives them a plan for up to 20,000 people to gather there in that place, with plans for 24 temples, or in other words, church buildings. Now, keep in mind, the temple lot has been dedicated. Look at the date. It's June 1833. It's 2 years earlier to this, the temple lot had already been dedicated. And remember, Section 84 was given a year prior to this in 1832. Where he says that they need to build a temple in the middle of Zion. Another year has now passed and nothing's happening on the temple. That is a key part of this revelation and understanding what's going on. Well, the reason why I call this Big Trouble in Little Zion is because, as you know, things break down between the local settlers and the 1,000 Latter-day Saints that have gathered there. And by July of 1833, things have turned hostile between the Latter-day Saints and the original settlers. And on July 20th, 1833, 400 to 500 disgruntled locals met at the Independence Courthouse. They drafted a declaration that no more Mormons can move into Jackson County and that those that were already there needed to leave as soon as possible. They presented this resolution to church leaders in Jackson County, and the church leaders asked for 3 months to consider different options. The settlers who proposed the document then said that they had 15 minutes to make up their mind. They returned to tell the rest of the citizens at the courthouse, and the meeting quickly turned into a mob. They destroyed the church's printing office and press, including most of the unbound copies of the Book of Commandments that were being printed. They leveled the building, and then the mob tarred and feathered Bishop Partridge and Charles Allen in the street, as is well known in our history. 3 days later, by the way, on July 23rd, 1833, the mob returned with rifles and pistols and whips and clubs. They searched for church leaders, but couldn't find them, so they destroyed more homes and property. Church leaders finally met with the mob, and they offered their lives as a ransom to stop this. The mob rejected that offer. The church leaders, fearful for the body of the saints there in Jackson County, they regretfully signed an agreement to leave Jackson County by April 1st, 1834. Now, in the midst of this is when Section 97 is going to come. So that's all happened at the end of July, and on the first week of August, the Lord is going to give this revelation to Joseph Smith, which he is going to send over to the saints in Zion. It's a curious revelation. In the midst of this persecution, the whole point of Section 97 is going to be this: Verily I say unto you, it's my will that a house should be built unto me in the land of Zion. It needs to be built speedily. This is the sacrifice that the Lord requires to have this house built. And notice the if and then blessings that will come here. Now, if Zion do this, meaning they build that temple, she'll prosper and become great and terrible, and the nations of the earth will honor her. And Zion cannot fall if they will build the temple. And then notice again, though, the Lord says, though, however, if she observe not to do these things, then I'll visit her according to all of her works, and with afflictions and pestilence and plague and vengeance. And so this becomes a very if-then section. Understanding this historical context as you get ready to study section 97 really helps you understand maybe some of the Lord's intent as to what's going on in the midst of persecution. The Lord's answer to these people is build a temple and build it fast and do what I say. And if you do that, I'll prosper you. But if you don't, you're going to struggle. So I hope you find some great insights as you study section 97 and some great principles that you can apply into your own life.